I never thought a quick trip to the store with my son would turn into one of the scariest moments of our lives. But that's exactly what happened. It was a regular afternoon, the kind where everything feels calm and routine. The sun was shining and the air was crisp as we stepped out of the house, chatting about school, weekend plans, and what we might make for dinner that night. We just needed a few things: milk, bread, some snacks, nothing special. My son, Jamal, who's only 14, was walking beside me, light-hearted and carefree, joking about how he hoped I'd let him grab some extra candy. He nudged me playfully, his laughter filling the space between us. It was one of those small, precious moments I always treasured. Just a mother and her son, enjoying each other's company. As we made our way through the aisles, Jamal picked up random items, reading labels dramatically and making silly voices, trying to make me laugh, and he succeeded. We filled our basket quickly, moving with ease, like we had done this countless times before. The store wasn't particularly busy, just a handful of people here and there, minding their own business. Or so I thought. As we reached the checkout line, I noticed a store employee watching us closely. He wasn't just glancing, he was staring. It was the kind of stare that felt heavy, full of unspoken suspicion. I've been black my whole life. I know that look. It was the kind of look that made your skin prickle, the kind that made you second-guess every movement, even when you had done nothing wrong. My hands suddenly felt too purposeful, my actions too deliberate. Should I hold my purse differently? Was I standing too close to the register? Should I smile to seem non-threatening? I took a deep breath, forcing myself to shake the feeling off. Maybe I was just being paranoid. Maybe he was just having a bad day. Maybe it wasn't about us. I wanted to believe that. But deep down, there was that familiar unease, the same one I had felt too many times before. The feeling of being watched, judged, and suspected, just for existing in my skin. We paid for our groceries, placing the bags carefully back into the cart, and turned to leave. That's when we heard someone yell, "Hey, stop right there!" The voice was sharp, commanding, and full of authority. My stomach clenched as I turned around to see two police officers rushing toward us. My heart dropped. Before I could even react, one of them grabbed my son's arm. "What's going on?" I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. But inside I was shaking. "We got a report that you stole something," one of the officers said, gripping Jamal tighter. My son looked at me, his eyes wide with fear. "Stole what?" I demanded. "We paid for everything. Check the receipt." But they weren't listening. One of them grabbed me, shoving me against the wall. Jamal started to panic, trying to pull away, but the other officer tackled him to the ground. My baby, my 14-year-old son, pinned down like some kind of criminal. "Stop! You're hurting him," I screamed, fighting to break free. But the officer holding me just tightened his grip. I could hear Jamal crying out, his voice muffled against the cold tile floor. People stood around watching. Some looked shocked, others pulled out their phones, but no one stepped in to help. "I didn't steal anything," Jamal sobbed. "Please." Finally, after what felt like forever, another store employee ran over, holding up the receipt we had left at the register. "They paid for everything," he shouted. "Let them go." The officers hesitated, then finally let us go. Just like that. No apology, no explanation, just an awkward silence as they stepped back like nothing had happened. Jamal scrambled to his feet, tears streaming down his face. My arms wrapped around him, holding him tight, trying to stop the shaking in his body and mine. We walked out of that store different than we walked in. Humiliated, angry, scared, and worst of all, reminded once again that no matter how good we are, no matter how honest in their eyes, we're still suspects first. That night, I held my son a little closer. I wiped his tears, even though mine wouldn't stop falling, and I whispered to him the same words I wish I didn't have to say. "I'm so sorry, baby. I'm so sorry this world sees us this way."